The views and opinions in this program are not those of CISA 7 or Spectrum.
Okay, we're going to call the meeting to order. This is the regular board meeting for the Green Bay School District for June 27th, 2022. We're going to start with roll call. Kinsey?
McCoy?
Here.
Smith?
Here.
Mills?
Here.
Welch?
Here.
Becker?
Here.
Leighton and Warren?
Here.
Lyerly?
Here.
Okay, all members are in attendance. We are scheduled for a closed session. Dawn, will you please read the motion?
I move that the board convene in closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.851C to consider employment, promotion, compensation, or performance evaluation data of any public employee over whom the board has jurisdiction, and Wisconsin statute 19.851F to consider the financial, medical, social, or personal histories which, if discussed in public, would be likely to have a substantial adverse effect upon the reputation of persons referred to, especially specifically to discuss the employment status of employees and to discuss the superintendent's administrative contract.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. We have to vote now, right? Yes. Okay. Kinsey?
Online voting is now open. All votes have been entered and the motion is carried with all board members voting in favor.
Thank you. We're adjourned into closed session. Ready? Okay. We're going to reconvene. There's no need to do another roll call because we already took it before we went into closed session. And I just want to welcome you all. It's good to see so many people here tonight. Will you please, let me see, we are joined, Intercity Student Council, we are joined by Maisie Saha and Sawyer Mons as representatives of the Intercity Student Council. And we're also joined by our interim superintendent, Vicki Beyer, and members of her cabinet. Next is the Pledge of Allegiance. Will you please stand for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, the next item is our mission statement. James, can you read that for us, please?
Gladly. We educate all students to be college, career, and community ready, inspired to succeed in our diverse world.
Thank you. The next item is our land acknowledgement statement, which we worked on at our last meeting. And tonight we're going to have the first public reading of that. Let's see, I think I've asked Laura Layton Warren if she would go ahead and do our inaugural reading of land acknowledgement.
Absolutely, thank you. Green Bay Area Public Schools Land Acknowledgement Statement. We, the members of the Green Bay Area Public School District, recognize and honor the original inhabitants of Northeast Wisconsin. Our district lives, works, and learns upon the ancestral homelands of the Menominee and Ho-Chunk nations and the current homeland of the Oneida Nation. We acknowledge the 12 diverse and vibrant Wisconsin First Nations who have persevered here since before the recorded time and continue to be the integral parts of our community. We uphold our responsibility to repair relationships, initiate partnerships, and stand with all First Nations communities.
Thank you, Laura. We'll be reading that before all of our meetings going forward. I'm very proud that our district has decided to do this. So, okay, moving on. The next item on our agenda is the Intercity Student Council report. Do you guys have anything this time, or are you here to just observe our meeting?
We have stuff.
Excellent.
So we just have some good news. All of the high schools in the district had successful graduations where the 2022 graduates earned their diplomas and are looking forward to their futures. Prebble had an NHS ceremony to induct the new members of the upcoming school year. Prebble also had multiple track and field athletes compete in the state track meet after making it past sectionals. They also had multiple students from the band compete in state solo ensemble, along with state and national bound students competing in FFA. JDAL had students compete in the Bellin Run after a lot of hard work training for it. JDAL said farewell to their seniors and celebrated their final in-person day of school with a great day at Bay Beach.
And then East successfully had their 30th annual fishing tournament. Southwest student Sebastian Westberg won the Daniel J. Sigel Memorial Award for his artwork at the 2022 Scholastic Art Awards. West student Bishop Buford was a state qualifier for the triple jump. Summer school programs have started for the Green Bay students, and we want to finish up the good news with a shout out to the past ICSE president, Emily Kep, who is one of Prebble's multiple valedictorians, and we wish her good luck as she heads into her future studying social sciences and pre-law at Columbia. And she had a great speech at graduation.
Thank you very much. Okay, the next item is our Friends of Education Award. This is a first for us as well. This is the first time that we've given this award, I believe, right? And we're going to, let's see here. I've got a little something to read here. Should I do the longer one or the shorter one? Longer, okay. First, I would like to recognize our Friend of Education Award recipients. This award is bestowed upon an individual, organization, or group whose leadership, acts, or support have significantly benefited the Green Bay Area Public School District, its employees, and or its students. This year, we acknowledge 2 individuals and their organizations for the incredible support they provided our staff, students, and community during the pandemic. The 2 recipients are President and CEO of Bellin Health, Chris Waleski, and President and CEO of Prevea Health, Dr. Ashok Rai. For the last 2 years, these organizations have provided support in the following ways. Bellin Health provided monthly town hall meetings, weekly with student district, with our, I'm sorry, and provided weekly emails with COVID updates, supported the district athletes, and were always available for phone calls, emails, or text messages to answer COVID-related questions. The school nurses wish to express a special shout out to Mark Hewson, Randy Van Straten, and Sherry LaFond. Prevea Health served as the district contact for the Department of Health Services School COVID testing program and assisted with training school nurses and contact tracers, supplying test kits and troubleshooting issues. Prevea supplied staff for the district's on-site testing center at the district office building Welcome Center, which ran from late October 2021 through February 17, 2022. They too were always available for phone calls, emails, or text messages to answer COVID-related questions. The school nurses wish to express a special shout out to Amber Allen, Michael Jabos, Quinn Schulke. Both Bellin and Prevea were of tremendous support to the Board of Education as we faced daunting decisions at a time when information and circumstances changed quickly. Their knowledge and steady guidance were extremely helpful and reassuring as we repeatedly faced trying to balance the health and educational needs of our staff and students. At this time, would you please come forward to receive your award?
Well, I'd like to thank the board for this wonderful honor. Over the last few years, there hasn't been an age group or a population not affected by the pandemic, but one that was truly affected probably to a greater degree than any, were our children in school. The faculty and the staff that took care of them while they were here, and the boards of educations that had to get through a lot of work to get to where we are today. So it was an honor to partner with the Green Bay Public School District and all of our school districts, and I appreciate the award. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Kenzie, is there a box that goes with it? Josh, can you grab it? Thank you. Okay, we're ready.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to another recognition item. This is another new award that we're going to be doing every year. Our Champion of Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion Award. And I just have a short statement here. Our second award of the evening, the Champion of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Award, recognizes an individual, organization, or group whose leadership, acts, or support have demonstrated outstanding commitment and made significant contributions into advancing diversity, equity, and inclusion within the Green Bay Area Public School District and/or greater Green Bay community. This year, we are acknowledging two individuals for their vision, commitment, and leadership to nurture the well-being and wholesome development of all members of the Hispanic community living in this region. As founding members of Casa Alba Melanie, they have supported the Green Bay Area Public School District and its students and families in so many ways, including supporting mental health by developing a 4-part video series for Latinos with the district through the mental health grant, collaborating to support the DACA paperwork process for students, participating in monthly equity department collaboration meetings, holding a transition event for incoming 4K and kindergarten students, participating in community fairs at JBS to communicate with GBAPS families, and providing a safe place that allows for conversations about public education between district leadership and families, for answering questions about new immigration laws, and provided funds for families in need of additional support. The Greater Green Bay community has been blessed with your servant leadership, an incredible example on how to embrace and celebrate diversity, equity, and inclusion. You both are so very deserving of the Champion of Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Award. And the recipients are Dr. Ken, or I'm sorry, Father Ken and Sister Melanie. Can you come forward, please, and receive your award?
On behalf of all of us at Casa Alba, I want to give thanks to all of you for this award. Certainly speaks well of what staff, people that work with us.
I also wanted to say thank you very much for the cooperation between Casa Alba, Melanie, and the Green Bay school system. It's been a wonderful collaborative relationship. And in addition to all the things you mentioned, there's also the work that we've done with the early childhood and kindergarten program, transitioning our bilingual family education program. And then also the past 2 years, working with the Latino, the young women in Edison and Prebble, just to help build cultural awareness, not cultural awareness, cultural self-confidence. And we've been so grateful for that. And to you as a board, for all that you've done during the pandemic, to be supportive of the health of the students, be supportive of the teachers and administration who I can't imagine. I was a teacher, and all the teachers had to go through during these years. We're grateful for your support. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, let's see here. Yes, we're going to change the order of our agenda to put the Title IX recognition at this point. Can someone make that motion, please? Brian, okay.
I move that we move action item A, recognizing the 50th anniversary of Title IX, to follow recognition. I'm sorry, item C under open forum, recognition of Champion of Equity, Diversity and Inclusion Award.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Okay. Let's see here. We're joined tonight by some representatives of our young women who participate in sports in our district. Oh, we're going to have Ellen come and talk. Ellen Krieger, will you join us, please?
Joining us at the table is Ellen Krieger, our district Title IX coordinator, and she's prepared some statements.
Hi, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Ellen Krieger, and I serve as the district's Title IX coordinator. I want to thank you for giving me this opportunity to say a few words on the impact that Title IX has had, not only on our nation, but on our school district and the students we serve as we celebrate the 50th anniversary of its enactment. On June 23rd, 1972, President Nixon signed the Education Amendment of 1972 into law. Part of this law included what is known as Title IX. Title IX states that no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any educational program or activity that is receiving federal financial assistance. 37 words, one sentence. But it had the power to open the doors and provide protection from inequitable treatment for all students, regardless of their gender or their sexual orientation. Prior to the 1970s, there were a lot of barriers in education for women to succeed in society. Women were not encouraged to attend college, and more often than not, were barred from male-only fields of study, including everything from woodworking, criminal justice, law, and medicine. Some colleges even refused to admit women, or they set quotas that limited the number of women or a number of female students. Title IX opened these doors, and as we know, the women rushed through. Today, female students have higher educational goals, they take more advanced placement classes, and are encouraged to enter traditionally male-dominated fields. This holds true in our district as well. Most notable, however, is the impact Title IX has had on athletics. By the 1970s, only 7% of high school athletes were girls. This lack of participation created inequities in equipment, in coaching, and in facilities. Scholarship funds for girls were essentially non-existent. Since the enactment of Title IX, the number of girls participating in high school sports has increased from less than 300,000 to more than 2.6 million. While great strides have been made, there is still progress that has to be made. As we celebrate the anniversary of Title IX and those who fought to get us here where we are today, I am hopeful that we can overcome the existing adversity and create a more equitable future for all students, regardless of gender identity or gender conformity. I'd like to thank our Board of Education and our district for being on the forefront of breaking down these barriers for all of our students, regardless of gender. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Ms. Beyer to introduce you to some of our successful district female athletes.
Thank you, Ellen. And we are joined today by some of our current athletes and coaches. So at this time, if you could please come forward, athletes and coaches. We are joined today by Taylor Truskowski, Prebble Girls Golf Assistant Coach, Haley Dessart. Did I say it right, Haley? Riley Wood and Audra Casper with a K. Did I say that right? Yeah. Members of the Prebble Girls Golf Team, Lindsay Sela, Prebble Girls Basketball Varsity Head Coach, Anne Marie Dessart. Oh, there we go again. Please, I'm sorry. How do you say it? Dessart, Prebble Girls Track Coach, and Amanda Van Kelster and Emma Dornbush, members of the Prebble Girls Track Team. Ladies, we're here tonight to celebrate you and the anniversary of Title IX. So we want to thank you for your participation and ask if anyone would like to say a few words about maybe what it means to you. Do we have a microphone, Josh? Okay.
Come to the table. Yep.
Would you like me to sit? All right.
Sure.
Hello, I'm Hallie Dessart, and I'm a 3-sport athlete of golf, basketball, and track. And I would just like to acknowledge how grateful I am for the opportunity to not only participate in athletics, but to get to support my other fellow female athletes in doing things such as well. And I would like to acknowledge Macy because she is also an athlete at Prebble. So that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Taylor Truskowski. Hi, my name is Taylor Truskowski. I am Prebble's assistant girls golf coach. I'm also a teacher in the district. Having the opportunity to participate in athletics, both in high school and college, has positively impacted both my life and my career path. Participating in athletics is where I first fostered my love for teaching and coaching. Without the opportunity to participate in athletics, I can't be certain that I would be standing where I am today, teaching and coaching within the Green Bay Area Public School District. I look forward to continuing to share my passion with my current and future female athletes because of Title IX. Thank you.
Hello, I am Anne Marie Dessart, the Prebble Girls track coach. I'm the head girls track coach. I am so thankful that we live in a world where girls are allowed to participate in athletics. Through participation in sports, our girls learn how to be mentally and physically strong, how to set goals, handle success and sometimes failure. They create lasting relationships with their teammates and coaches. My first year coaching, this is my 4th year, I was the only female coach on our 12 staff, on our 12-member coaching staff. And this year, my 4th year, we now have 4 female coaches on our staff. And I appreciate my male partners who are also extremely supportive of both the girls team and the female coaches that they work with on a regular basis, and making sure that we always do have a voice and are supporting our females themselves. So I look forward to continuing to grow the track team and helping the other female athletic teams grow, and to increase our female numbers in coaching as well, so that these girls continue to have strong role models of women to look up to in their lives as well. So we're very, very thankful for Title IX. Thank you.
I didn't write anything on my phone, so they're much better than me. That's preparedness, right? So my name is Lindsay Sela. I'm the head girls basketball coach at Prebble. Honored to be so. I think we tried to encompass what this means to our players in the words of privilege and honor and respecting the game. And it's very difficult to grasp something that has always been there for me included, right? So we talk a lot about the history of what this means and how there are people today who are not able to perform the way that we can perform in able bodies and able minds. And so I think Title IX is a constant reminder for me specifically that athletics and equal rights, to be general, is important to save lives and to make sure that people get what they need out of the things that they need to do. Athletics kept me alive. It keeps me alive today. And I think that it's really important for people to understand that. I'm grateful for the activists in the 70s, 60s, and 50s, and all those before me that that sacrificed their time, energy, and their own lives to be able to make this go through. And so I think it's important for us to stop, pause, and really realize what this means for a lot of people, for the human race in general. So I'm very grateful for this, and thank you for recognizing this. Not every public school district has a position like this. And I think it just speaks immense volume to what we are doing here in Green Bay. So thank you very much.
Is there anybody else? Okay, thank you all so much. Go ahead, Vicki.
I was hopeful we could get a picture.
A picture is always good.
Board president and vice president, along with our athletes and coach.
If I
And Ellen,
must.
please. Oh, right.
Well, let's get the picture because they have to go, right? Yeah. We're taking a picture with the young ladies and the coaches. Is that what we're doing?
Yep. Ellen, getting there. Let it go. Coaches and athletes, if you could stick around, if you do have a second, we're going to actually have the resolution read. Okay. Sorry. Is that okay, Laura?
Yeah, first I wanted to recognize Tim Flood. So another person who worked on this, I just want to recognize our Associate Director of Co-Curricular Programming, Tim Flood, and his part in all this as well. And then I believe that we have to, I'll read the recommended action, and then we can vote on it, and then we'll read it. How's that go? Does that sound good? Okay. I'm sorry. Sorry, I have that backwards. So we are going to read it first. Go ahead.
Recognizing the 50th anniversary of Title IX, whereas Title IX of the Education Amendment Act of 1972, commonly known as Title IX, passed on June 23rd, 1972, signed by President Richard Nixon, prohibits discrimination based on sex in educational programs, stating in 37 words that no person in the United States shall, on the basis of sex, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subjected to discrimination under any education program or activity receiving federal financial assistance. And whereas Title IX applies to schools, local and state educational agencies, and other institutions that receive federal funds, and requires that these recipients operate educational programs and activities in a non-discriminatory manner free from discrimination based on sex, including sexual orientation and gender identity. And whereas the prohibition against discrimination based on sex requires education institutions to address many areas, including athletics, sex-based harassment, sexual violence, treatment of pregnant and parenting students, treatment of LGBTQI+ students, discipline, single-sex education, access to courses of study regardless of gender stereotypes, and employment. And whereas by prohibiting schools from treating students differently on the basis of sex, Title IX mandated change in the educational setting by expanding access and opportunities for the underrepresented sex, which historically has been women. And whereas since 1970, national educational attainment rates among women have increased such that as of 2020, the percentage of women who had completed at least high school increased to 92% nationally in comparison to 66% nationally in 1970. And whereas Title IX is largely known for its impact on expanding opportunities for women and girls in sports and activities, providing female athletes the right to equal opportunity, as prior to Title IX, there were less than 500,000 girls participating in high school athletics. And since the passage of Title IX, the number of female students participating in high school sports nationally has increased by 10 times that amount and now comprises almost 43% of high school athletes nationally. And whereas the Green Bay Area Public School District female high school graduates have made significant contributions to the greater Green Bay and Brown County communities, as well as throughout the state of Wisconsin, United States, and world. Whereas Green Bay Area Public School District female athletes and their coaches have brought honor and distinction to themselves, their family, school, and community by demonstrating their pride and commitment to their sports and teammates. And whereas while Title IX has made several necessary and welcome advancements in the protection against discrimination on the basis of sex, the work continues on behalf of the next generation of students. Now, therefore, be it resolved on this 27th day of June, 2022 by the Board of Education of the Green Bay Area Public School District that the 50th anniversary of Title IX is hereby recognized as a landmark legislation that is in its 50th year of banning discrimination on the basis of sex in any educational setting, and that the Board of Education will continue to work towards expanding the protection of equal rights as first recognized by Title IX 50 years ago. Dated this 27th of June, 2022. Can I make the motion? Okay. I make the motion that the Title IX resolution as presented be approved.
I'll second it. Okay, we're going to vote now.
Online voting is now open. All votes have been entered and the motion is carried with all board members voting in favor.
Motion passes. Okay. I think our young women have some of them have a game they need to get to. So okay, we did reorder the agenda a little bit, so we're going to go back and we need to go back to open forum to see if there's any anyone who wants to speak in the public forum. Okay. Oh. Denise? Oh, okay. Denise, will you just state your name and address, and you have 5 minutes.
Denise Hutchison. I can yell, so I'm Denise Garmer Hutchison, and I live at 3184 Hermans Road in New Franken, Wisconsin. I just have to say, as a parent of children that went through this school, how proud I am of all of you tonight for passing that. It was amazing. I had a daughter who was an athlete at Prebble, so thank you for honoring women. Recently, someone posted this quote from President John Adams in 1785. The whole people must take upon themselves the education of the whole people and be willing to bear the expense of it. There should not be a district of 1 square mile without a school in it, not founded by charitable individuals, but maintained at the public expense of the people themselves. Today, a whole lot of years later, this still applies. Tonight, you are honoring people who have stepped up to support children and families in our community. These actions are so important for our children and our collective community from a human perspective and an economic perspective for all of us. I'm here tonight to in a show of support for your upcoming referendum.
Because the state legislature did not increase the revenue to the Green Bay Area Public School District, it is in the best interest of the community to step up and support that community and our great public schools by supporting the referendum. The passage of the referendum will help to provide great learning environments for all the children who attend this public school system, who are presently here, and also those who will come here in the future. Additionally, it will encourage others to attend this great public school system and create an environment to recruit and retain great education professionals to be a part of this district. As a parent who had children in this great public school system, I can tell you it was very challenging to raise money for playground equipment and for other services and programs, to have book sales, to get books for our public library and for our community school library. So I really hope that all of this will come to play and come into, because every school building in this district deserves to have the same high quality that of all across the system. So thank you to businesses, medical institutions, and community leaders who are already supporting our great public schools. And I look forward to helping to continue that work and encourage our legislature from this area of the state to do the same by stepping up and doing their job. Thank you.
Thank you, Denise. Is there anyone else? Okay. Then we're going to move on to approval of the consent agenda. Does anyone want to, any items withdrawn for separate consideration? Okay, then I would entertain a motion. Anyone want to read that? Go ahead, Andrew.
I'll move that the consent agenda items as presented be approved.
Is there a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Kinsey.
Online voting is now open. All votes have been entered and the motion has carried with all board members voting in favor.
Okay. Moving on to under action items, we're going to now talk about the RFP for the superintendent search.
Thank you. We're joined tonight virtually by Lori Myron and Jake Alverson. They took the suggestions from the Board of Education's work session and made changes to the RFP, which you should have all access to. They are here to answer any questions that you might have.
Good evening. I guess we've already reviewed the RFP, but I just want to go through the changes that you requested, and those are on page 10. The further criteria on the evaluation. So the first one is the proposed cost for services contained herein, which would be still the 25 points. And then we added experience in successfully placing superintendents in school districts of similar size and demographics, including superintendent placed, but not ultimately assuming duties or leaving duties less than 3 years placed, and the track record of placing those superintendents who stay within the district for 3 years. And we actually specifically are noting here that the points that will be given is based on, awarded based on superintendents placed, and then also how many placed, and then also based on the remaining, those who have remained in the district more than 3 years. So there'll be, stronger criteria for that. The next one is the commitment to affirmative action by identifying, placing minority or women candidates for positions of the superintendent or a position of recognizable stature in the public or private sector of their past clients. And again, points would be awarded based on the number of minority candidates presented, as well as the number of minority candidates placed. And then geographically, we talked about the availability of the consultants in the Midwest, but then also the quality of the references, because typically people will always give references that are positive and always have gone, splendidly well. but we also are asking for a reference from a placement that maybe did not go as they had hoped, so that we can have a little bit more transparency and gain a better understanding. Any questions on that or anything else that we had talked about?
Anyone have anything to add? What's that? Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I just
James.
want to take a moment and recognize the changes. I appreciate them. I also appreciate sharing the scorecard that you intend to use in grading the RFP at my expectations, and I think it'll be valuable.
Thank you. Anyone else? Go ahead, Laura.
Just a comment. I think I mentioned this last time, but I don't believe it was regarding this topic, but I'd like to see as a district that we get away from using the term minority in our language and use people of color or something else that'd be more applicable.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Go ahead.
Would we need to make a motion to have that changed on this RFP, or would that be an editorial change that they could take care of and we could still vote on?
Any other concerns, any other questions before we take a vote? Okay. Would anyone like to read the motion? Go ahead.
I move that the request for proposal as presented be approved and that such request for proposal be issued to prospective vendors on June 29th, 2022.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Kinsey, if we're ready to vote.
Online voting is now open. All votes have been entered and the motion has carried with all board members voting in favor.
Motion passes. I just want to remind everyone that we do have kind of a tentative timeline, but it's subject to change. But we do have kind of a skeleton of a timeline going forward with this now. Once the RFP is submitted, we're going to start hearing from companies, and but the cutoff is August 10th. So I think that's it. All right. Next on the agenda is the naming of our online school.
Okay, at the last meeting, we came forward with a memo and there were 3 names presented to the Board of Education for discussion tonight and hopefully a vote.
Okay, what's that? Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Brian.
Just to start the talk, I'm going to make a motion. I'm open to changes with it. My motion is that the district's current virtual school known as PK Online School be named the Katherine Johnson Academy of Enriched Virtual Learning.
I'll second.
Okay. Is there anybody who wants to offer competing anything? Want to discuss the other options at all? Okay. So we have consensus on the motion. All right. We have a motion and a second, and I think then we will go ahead and vote.
Online voting is now open. All votes have been entered and the motion has carried with all board members voting in favor.
We have a new school with a new name. James, you were a big part of this process. Do you have anything you'd like to? I don't want to put you on the spot, but I know that you were a big part of this latest process, and that it was sort of an interesting process, I believe.
You're correct. I had the privilege of serving on this committee, and everyone that participated took it very seriously. And we had about 12 different names that we went around and voted multiple times to kind of get to the options that you saw at the meeting, our working session. So I don't want the public to think that we just came here and all just kind of instantaneously agreed on a particular name. There was some robust discussion around these names during the working session that unfortunately wasn't part of the record tonight. But I'm really looking forward to this, and the school is now set to kind of start rolling out a marketing plan around this. And it gives a lot of parents in this district options if they are wanting, are currently homeschooling, whatever, to get that curriculum via a district program. So I'm very proud of what the district did.
Thank you very much. Okay, we're going to move on to, oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Andrew.
I just want to say too that I like the, I do all, well, there were good, there was good rationale with the other names as a school that serves elementary age kids. Our schools have been named for historical figures, and if I would, yeah, we're following that precedent. We're choosing, I know there's occasionally some worry about, well, what happens if you picked, if you picked someone who history hasn't had years and years after they were gone, but there is certainly care put in before someone's allowed to be nominated for the Presidential Medal of Freedom. You can, I think, have a lot of confidence that there's some good vetting behind that, and I think it's a great choice.
Okay. Anyone else? Okay. We're going to move on to some votes on policy changes. Oh, go ahead. Yes, that would be great. Does anyone think, are we going to need to ask any questions of Melissa? Do we need her at the table at all? Or are we going to just go through these? We've already discussed them all in a previous meeting. So, okay, go ahead.
I move that the revisions to the Board of Education Policy 411.1, harassment and or bullying by or towards students as presented, be approved.
Second.
Any discussion? Kinsey?
Online voting is now open. All votes have been entered and the motion has carried with all board members voting in favor.
Next.
I move that the Board of Education Rule 411.1, guidelines for responding to acts of harassment and or bullying by or towards students, be repealed.
Second.
Discussion or questions? Kinsey?
Online voting is now open.
You're on a roll.
All votes have been entered and the motion has carried with all board members.
Thank you.
I move that the revisions to Board of Education Policy 457, suicide prevention intervention as presented, be approved.
Second.
Discussion or questions? Kinsey?
Online voting is now open. All votes have been entered and the motion has carried with all board members voting in favor.
Motion passes. Next.
I move that the revisions to Board of Education Policy 760, Food Service Management, as presented, be approved.
Second.
Questions or discussion? Kinsey?
Online voting is now open. All votes have been entered and the motion has carried with all board members voting in favor.
Motion passes. Next.
I move that the revisions to the Board of Education Rule 761, Appeals of Eligibility for Free or Reduced Price Benefits, as presented, be approved.
Second.
Discussion or questions? Kinsey?
Online voting is now open. All votes have been entered and the motion has carried with all board members voting in favor.
Motion passes. Go ahead. Next.
I move that the revisions to Board of Education Policy 823, Access to Public Records, as presented, be approved.
Second.
Discussion or questions? Kinsey?
Online voting is now open. All votes have been entered and the motion has carried with all board members voting in favor.
Motion passes. And finally,
I move that the revisions to Board of Education Rule 823, Access to Public Records, as presented, be approved.
Second.
discussion or questions? Kinsey?
Online voting is now open. All votes have been entered and the motion has carried with all board members voting in favor.
Motion passes. Okay, that completes our action items. Are there any questions around the schedule for agenda setting, under agenda setting? Okay, then I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? No. Motion carries. We are adjourned. Thank you, everybody.
You have been watching the Green Bay Area Public School District's Board of Education meeting. Please visit the school district's website, www.gbaps.org, to view the program again. If you cannot fully access the information on this video, please let us know the accessibility issue you are having by calling 920-448-2025 or by email at communications@gbaps.org. We will try to provide the information to you in an alternative format and/or make the necessary improvements to make the information accessible.